That's great. You know, the other thing, yeah, you walk past all those famous icons that when you were walking on stage, Will, and you know, and there you are. There's you walking, you and your brother are walking there, seeing them, idolizing them to some degree, or looking up to them, and all of that. And of course, I don't know who I was talking about. Maybe it was you, Allan. So I talk to you. You and I talk a lot. But the idea that you become famous and you're elevated to this place that's unattainable for most people. You look up and it's like, oh my God. But most of these people started in little towns out of nowhere, right? I mean, there was no predestined, preordained thing for anyone, probably including yourselves. But a lot of these other people, I don't know how you grew up, you know, whether it was middle class, upper middle class, but a lot of these people, I mean, I've read the books on artists I love, you know, lots of musicians, and, you know, they came out of nothing, most of them, right? And
yeah.
And it's so false to go from that to the pinnacle of stardom, this deification, which happens, really fucks people up. I mean, I'm not surprised. And so a little bit of that was, I wonder whether you felt any of that as you became.
I mean, look at Anthony and I were very fortunate growing up to come from a family that was very supportive. They didn't push us to pursue it professionally at all. I mean, my brother and I were freaks of nature. We were varsity athletes by the time we were 11 as well. We were long distance runners and tennis players. Plus, you know, we were singing professionally beginning in elementary school. So, but there was never a push to choose one avenue. We also were very fortunate to live right outside of Manhattan. That's where it happened. We were born, you know, we were born in Brooklyn, but raised in Westchester. But Lance, you bring up a really good point. I bring up a certain artist in particular because I was very fortunate to conceive and direct a piece around my dear friend, Tony Award winner Katie Huffman, who won the Tony for her role as Ulla in The Producers. We co-conceived together an original musical about the late, great Peggy Lee. Mm. And Peggy Lee was born in a little town called Jamestown. And she was born Norma Eggstrom. Norma grew up by the train tracks. And while she waited for her dad to come home from work, she would listen to the train tracks and the train whistles. The train whistles had a single tone to them with no vibrato. And that's how Peggy Lee learned how to sing in straight tone. She was a woman who created her destiny because there was no other way out except through her imagination. And it's a story that you can see throughout all of the great artists who have made it, Lance. And you bring up a good point too, that again, I'm grateful where I was born, and I happen to be born near a big city. But for a lot of artists, they're forced to create in their mind what that image is of where they know they have to go, with no ego or no cockiness. It's their bliss, it's their destiny. And, you know, I mean, not to bring this up and sounding like an infomercial, but, you know, I am talking to the two of the co-founders of FENIX. I think about what Peggy Lee would have thought of FENIX. I think about what Judy Garland would have thought of FENIX. You know, she was born Frances Gumm. I think about what Norma Jean would have thought of FENIX, who became Marilyn Monroe. I think about all the artists out there who are forced to create personas to pursue their bliss, and not in a negative way. That's what they needed to do to get up and out.
Yep.
But artists to feel like they're connected to get up and out now through this app, to look at other people like we were talking about before, talking about the great music and art that we all love, which is done through pain and vulnerability and relatability. What a great idea to have an app now where people can be looking at other artists. Oh my God, they're amazing. They sound like me. And wait, they came from a town across the globe, but that sounds like my town. There's a relatability and a connectivity that FENIX is going to be allowing other artists to field. And, you know, it's that emotional takeaway the three of us talk about a lot offline.
In the digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.